Hi, Scott Weaver from Factory Direct Window Treatments again. I just showed you the valance that was in the office, and it was a nice tailored valance, and I'm going to show you how to make this pattern. Well, this is the actual pattern that I made for it, and I'm just going to show you real quick. You can see this is the scallop part of it, and you see I have a cross. That's telling me where to center the motif on the fabric. This part right here is my pleat. And this over here is my return. It's going to the wall. And I don't know if you can see this, but I've got notches. I always notch my material right where you see where it's drawn. I have a notch. That's called a pleating notch. So this is my pleat. This is a half. This is a six inches for my pleat. And this goes over like that to make that first scallop. Now this is part of the pleat. The other part is on the center. This is the large scallop, if you remember. And you'll notice that this here, this is part of my pleat. This is 8 inches here. And this is 4 inches, plus a ½ inch sewing allowance on each side. That makes my 12 inches. So when this is sewn, this would be 12 inches from this one to here. And then what would happen is this would come where my notch is, and would come over to here, and this comes over like that. So there's my first one, there's my return, there's my large scallop, and then I'm just going to push this over. This is a mirror image of this one. It's the same deal. You've got 8 inches plus a ½ inch sewing allowance and 4 inches on this side. So this would literally come over here. And what you're noticing is, like I said before, you don't want 6 inches and 6 inches because you're not hiding your seam. You're still going to see your seam. And this particular seam isn't going to be matched to anything because you are centering the motifs here. So with that being said, this is going to come over like that, and this would be sewn here and come over, and then this is your other pleat. So this is a very, very simple design, but it's very tailored and it doesn't take much fabric. Now I'm going to show you how I made this particular pattern. Now the one in the office that you had seen had the draperies underneath it. So when you have draperies underneath, you have to have a larger return. You need a good 5½ inch return for a 6-inch board to accommodate it. So I'm going to start with my return on this side first, which is a 5½ inch return plus ½ inch for my sewing. That makes 6 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 6 inches. I'm going to draw a straight line. Now I need 6 more inches for that end return. I'm sorry, for the end pleat. So that takes another 6 inches. That's my pleat. And then the small scallop, which was this one, that's the end scallops, those were 15 inches. So you go ahead and you mark your 15 inches for your scallop. Now this is an 18-inch drop on this, and I cut my material. You need a ½ inch sewing allowance for the bottom, ½ inch sewing allowance for the top, and I cut an extra ½ inch longer just so I can scallop it. And that's for your long point. Your short point's 16 inches. Now with this, as you can tell, we got this, and then we need this part of the pleat. And if it's a 12-inch pleat, as you recall, the whole thing's 12 inches. But what I do is I'm going to put 4.5 inches on this piece, and then 8.5 inches on the other. That's 13 inches, and by the time you sew it, it'll be 12 inches. Here's my 4.5. And we cut the balance off. Now the short point on this, we've got 18 inches for the long point, 16 inches for the short point. That's what it calls your scallop. So you need 16 plus a half inch is 17. So what I'm going to do is going to come over to 17 inches, and I'm going to draw a line here. Then I'm going to come over to here. I'm going to draw my 17 inch. Then I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm only going to mark this and this, because that's your short point. This is my return, so you don't mark that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Then I'm going to notch my material. This is the top, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and put a notch right there. And a notch. Those are called pleating notches. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. This is where my scallop is. Then I'm going to draw my scallop. And remember, I cut this a half inch longer just for it, so I've got to put a mark at my 19 inches. Then you have to draw your scallop, like so. Cut this out. And this is your return we talked about, and that also has to have a scallop. So we're going to put that at 19 inches also. And you're just going to draw. Now if you're not good at drawing, you might want to do this in pencil. Okay. So now what do we have? We got our first part done. This goes like so. And this is half of our other one. Now we have this side. Now all we have to do really for the other side is make a mirror. I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. Keeping everything even. You go ahead and you're going to notch the top of it. Now you have your left and your right pieces. You can still draw this vertical line across here. And you're doing this so you're centering your pattern. It just gives you a better idea of where your pattern's being centered. When you're centering a motif, it gives you a better idea. So there you have your left and your right side all done. Now you just need your center scallop. Now if you recall, this pattern 60 inches, we're making a 15-inch scallop, 15-inch scallop, and then